Yeah.
Take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Good feeling. You wanna know is how to hold on to it every moment. Dive into it like my love is an ocean. It's overflowing. I swear it's golden. So good that I'm rolling. Baby, you make me crazy. I'm seeing roses. Baby, just maybe you save me. Oh, take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky.
Good morning everyone and welcome at the third day of the FIDE World Youth Under 16 Chess Olympiad, and this morning we'll start with round number 4 and I will not be doing that alone, of course. I'm joined today by Anna-Maja Kazarian, FIDE Master and fresh from Romania. She just arrived yesterday. Welcome in Eindhoven.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Stefan. I'm super excited to be commentating on this event. I've seen the players today and they're pretty young. And it's really awesome to see young talents representing the national teams participate in such a huge event.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you feel old, right? When you walk into playing all night,
Yes.
like, right, yeah.
Pretty much.
The old days when we were young as well. Yeah, so today we have well, exciting clash, I think, for the Netherlands, because of course we're a little bit biased, and maybe we can have a short look at today's pairing. Results of yesterday, of course, because we had a very long round yesterday and Hungary did a pretty good job. They drew Kazakhstan on board 1, which was quite impressive. China had a clean sweep, beating Romania 4-0.
Wow.
And the Netherlands did well with the smallest margin, but they beat Canada. And Turkey is back where they belong after drawing in the first round. They beat Armenia, so they are getting close to the top boards again and fighting for the lead in the tournament. And there was one upset, which we will discuss later, but that was Greece beating Israel. But we'll get back to that at a later stage. Current standings, only 2 teams that won all their matches after 3 rounds, so that's pretty unique, I think. which are China and the Netherlands. So of course they will play each other. China has the better tiebreak, so they are clearly favorites. But as we have seen, anything can happen, and then we can see France, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and so on, all the way until Germany, who have 5 match points. So it's still very, very close. Pairings. As mentioned, the Netherlands playing China.
Huge matchup.
Yeah, it's a big matchup. I'm very excited to see that one. Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, and France, Turkey will be the main matches we will focus on today. But of course, if there's anything exciting happening in the other rounds, then surely we'll have a look at those as well. So we will see the board pairings now. I'm not gonna mention all the names, but everyone can see who's playing who. And once again, the ratings displayed here are the rapid ratings, so it's still a bit confusing, but we do have a feeling now for who's strong and who isn't. And we do know that most of the players up there are strong and stronger than their ratings currently indicate. So don't get too distracted by those.
At least the titles help a little bit to explain the strength.
Yeah, they do. It's make lives a bit easier. So we can see the players sitting down. It's 7 minutes still before the start of the round, so we have some time to talk about, to chit chat a little bit.
Yes.
So, as you being my new co-host for the rest of the tournament, could you tell me a little bit? I mean, did you play many of these events, for example, in the past?
I used to play a lot in the European and World Youth Championships, but I believe we rarely had a team participating in the Under-16 Olympiad.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I didn't participate in this particular event, but in many European World Youth Championships. And yeah, usually you know almost all the participants, you see them participate, or you see some of the games, or you're seeing the games of your teammates, because as the Netherlands delegation, we had quite a big delegation participating in those tournaments. But yeah, these players are much younger than I am, so they're not very well known to me, but today we're going to get to know them better.
Yeah, every time you think, well, I know the young talents, but then you're sitting here, you're like, okay, those guys are playing pretty strong, and also some girls who are playing very, very well. You see most of the teams, as people might know by now, that every team consists of both genders, and you see most girls sitting board 4, which is unfortunate, but also with the team of Hungary, if I'm not mistaken, she's playing board 1. So
okay, that's really nice to see.
And she played a strong game yesterday against Kazakhstan. I think she drew Ansat, if I'm not mistaken. So that's yeah, you can see she's. I think this is Hungary that we're looking at right now. I think she's Gaal is her name. She's sitting board 1 and also board 2, I think.
Yeah, board 2 also have a girl.
So it's nice. It's a good mix, and they are certainly showing themselves at this event. 5 more minutes before the start. I think we want to have a look at one game from yesterday, but I think we might do that when the games have started.
Right.
Because the openings, they take a while, so we have some time to look at games from yesterday. It was a long round, by the way. The interesting to tell maybe was the game ongoing between Hee-Chan Han and his opponent from Australia. No, I have forgotten his name. Let's look that one up. Anthony Atanasov.
Yeah.
They were playing a very long game, so Hee-Chan was up 3 pawns in the end game, easily winning it seemed, but his opponent was fighting, winning back a pawn, winning back another pawn, and eventually they reached the end game of rook, bishop against rook, and Hee-Chan tried and he got his opponent's king all the way to the edge of the board, and then he let him go again, and the king was running to the center, and because they don't write moves, they had no idea how many moves they had played, so his opponent didn't know when to claim, but the 75 move rule applied, where the arbiter is supposed to intervene when there's no captures or no captures in the last or palm moves. In the last 75 moves. So the arbiter intervened, and Anthony was saved. Also, Hee-Chan was saved a little bit because he was clearly struggling, trying to find a way to checkmate his opponent. So we had a very long round yesterday.
Wow, it's pretty rare that the arbiter intervenes. I mean, I haven't heard in a long time that the arbiter intervenes after 75 moves. Usually, either the draw is agreed or someone makes a mistake and the game is over.
Or someone claims after, let's say, 50, 60 moves or something, gives it a try. But no, I've never seen it before either. But the arbiter was pretty, we could see it in the webcam yesterday, he was going like, It's enough.
End it.
We reached 75. I want dinner.
Awesome. So today we have in board 1 we have the Netherlands against China. I'm very excited for this matchup. Is there any game in particular that you're excited about, or are all the games going to be just really cool?
Well, we became a big fan of board 4 of China.
Yes.
Miao Yi Lu, she played amazing chess so far. She has the most there she is. She has the most intimidating look of the entire field, and she plays the opening just instantly, every move instantly, and then when she's about to finish the game, it goes instantly as well. Just bam, 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 checkmate.
Wow.
She's impressive. So I'm very excited to see if Dana Verheij can put up a good fight or maybe even beat her. Of course, she's not invincible, but she does look like it at moments. So
that helps a lot.
Yeah, the game is always interesting. And okay, so board 1, Yi Chen-han he's quite a solid player. So his games are not overly exciting, like out of the opening or in the middle game. But board 2, I think that's going to be an exciting game. And also our third board is a pretty solid chess player. So I don't expect super exciting games on 1 and 3, but I think board 2 and 4 is going to be fireworks.
Okay, I'm really excited for those.
Yeah, I think they have 2 more minutes before the games will start.
Yes.
Every player.
Players are ready, seated. Are there some words being mentioned? No, I think those are the parents in the background.
No parents, just coaches.
Oh, just coaches.
Just coaches. Yeah, no parents allowed inside.
Oh.
Unless the parent is a coach, but okay.
That's possible.
Yeah, coaches and arbiters are waiting for the final few words to start the game, and then it begins. Well, we saw in the previous round that they do take their time in the opening, so it's not like they're not like kids anymore. They are kids, but they're no longer
they're
kids.
not. Oh, that's interesting, because the time control is different from classical, of course. It's 45 minutes plus 10 seconds increments, so you'd expect the pace to be much faster. But that's interesting that they're taking their time in the opening as well.
Yeah, playing like old men already. It's a good thing though. It's good. It's better than just blitzing out your moves and then making a mistake and never being able to play a game at all.
True, it's very common that players, especially at a young age, play very quickly and then they're told by their coaches, stop moving fast.
Yeah, it's really
it's
difficult.
really difficult.
Sit on your hands and
yes.
all those tricks. All been there, done that.
So yeah, we're about to start. It can start in any moment, and I'm curious if there will be any surprises early on. I'm not sure how much there is in terms of preparation, but I'm sure there is quite a lot. I mean, we have the double round today, so there's not so much time between the rounds to prepare. But I'm curious if we will have some very sharp games at the very beginning. So yeah.
Do I see moves there? Yeah, some games already started.
Oh.
You can see on the webcam, but I don't see any moves just yet. And maybe some games started earlier. I have no idea.
Downstairs on the lower boards, the game started.
Maybe, yeah. So here the top game's also starting. Yeah. So talking about surprises, I want to go back to yesterday, as I mentioned, this match between Greece and Israel, and it was a nice victory for Greece. They beat Israel, and that was surprising according to the ratings. But board 1 was very interesting to see, and after that we will just pick up the live games. But here I'm just going to go through the opening quickly, just to see where it all came from. But Black launched this very, very nice attack. This knight with h5 is pretty well known these days.
The h5 knight, or stopping any sort of kingside attack by white.
Now, white castles kingside, which I'm not sure is very common. I think usually white castles queenside.
Yeah.
And we'll probably see why. Because black decides not to castle and starts pushing pawns. And
ooh, you know, if there's a pawn on h4 and a rook on h8 and a king on h1, oh, it's getting sweaty.
Yeah, so Dimitrios Makridis, he is going for the attack, and Eli Milkovic, he is trying to, he or she, I'm not sure. I think he is trying to defend. And the knights are jumping in, and you can see the light square bishop is struggling to control any of these dark squares, which is clearly impossible. So white is having trouble finding defenders, and now the knights join the party, and this is just, it's not super difficult, but it's so much fun. It just goes queen g5, and here it all begins. Knight g3 check. It's very thematical, it's very well known, but still it's nice to execute. If you take, your king is just trapped, it's easy checkmate for black. So you can't really take the knight. White decides to go king g1.
Fortunately for white, it's not forced to capture.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Knight f5, queen c3, and there goes the other knight. Check. Ouch. Okay.
Ooh.
King back, and here goes knight g3. Now you have no choice anymore.
Yeah, now you have to capture. And those knights on the third rank are pretty dangerous.
Yeah, they look very impressive. So white has to take, and here it's so strong. Black goes knight f2 check. King going to g1, and now takes the pawn on g3, threatening checkmate with rook h1. And
so you just capture the knight.
You take the knight, and now the beautiful finish. Once again, not super difficult, but it's nice to be able to execute this at least once in your life. Rook h1 check, and white resigned due to king takes h1, queen h4 check, king g1, and checkmate on h2, or even prettier maybe take on f2.
Oh, wow, very impressive, and what a nice finish, because you can launch an attack like this, but it not always ends in a nice way, or your opponent is able to defend. But here all the pieces were in the action, and every single move, even though it was a sacrifice, was just working out.
Yeah, beautiful game, beautiful,
wow.
Beautiful attack. And that's how Greece beat Israel. So they are doing well. I think they're playing one of the top boards, board 4, I think, 4 or 5. So Greece ready to 6 even.
Against Romania.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get to see more of them. All right. Live games. We have the match, China, the Netherlands, and it has started. And as we can see in the overview, okay, so the first board is a surprising opening, I think. Looking a bit like Scandinavian kind of stuff,
with the inclusion of knight c3, knight f6, which is, it looks strange. Imagine you play the Scandinavian and then you face knight c3.
Yeah.
But okay, it's white to move now, so.
Let's just have a look at on what happened there, the exact move order, but indeed start with the other kind defense, knight f6. Most common response, of course, is e5, but knight c3 was played, and I played it myself too, but it's a bit lame. it's. I mean, if black goes e5, you have this e4, e5 opening, so that's completely fine. But black normally doesn't do it because it goes for either d6 sometimes, but most players go for d5. And now you get into this weird Scandinavian transposition. Normally you're supposed to take. I think after e5 there's d4, but I'm not entirely sure if that's how this works, because you have all these captures and intermediate captures on d2 or b2, and white has the same options. So don't know what happens here, but I think this is not a good idea for white.
Probably not.
So normally you take, knight takes, and I think main line goes bishop c4, knight c3, and then queen f3.
And you capture the knight with the queen.
With the queen, but you can also capture with the pawn, and there's no longer a queen exchange on d1.
Ah, okay.
So you still have options here. But this is completely fine for black. It's really harmless. And He-Chan is not sure what to do. I think he got surprised by knight f6 on move 1, then played knight c3, and then got surprised again by d5 maybe, and well.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Let's just check board 2.
Yeah,
see
sounds
what's
good.
Pick up all the games, see what's happening there. So Xiao Tong is playing Arthur de Winter, and that's a Sicilian. That's how we know Arthur. Always plays Sicilian. And e6, and once again the move queen d3. I think he did this yesterday as well.
Okay.
Against the Najdorf, but he plays it against this opening as well. As I mentioned yesterday, I'm a big fan of queen d3 against every Sicilian. So
you're a big fan.
I'm a big fan already. Yep. It's the main idea is that you have queen g3 in many lines, attacking g7, making it difficult for black to develop. But now here black played d5.
Is the d5 move good in this position, or is it too early?
I don't know.
Because most of the times, of course, in the Sicilian you want to push d5, but if you do it too early, you might be weakening some squares, and your pawn structure might not be very good.
Yeah, but here it seems fine, right? I don't see any clear refutation.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. But this is also a threat with a double attack on d4. I guess it's fine. I mean, the queen d3 is not a good move. It's an interesting move, but it's not a good move. Black has often many ways to equalize. So he took knight b4, and here you see the queen go into g3.
Right.
Okay, so now the point is, this is annoying. So black can't really develop.
Yeah.
The bishop. Once again, it's not supposed to be a big deal, but it's annoying. And the big question is, how do you play with black?
It makes me wonder if there is tactics available with bishop c5 taking on d4, and then maybe some knight takes c2.
Okay, if I take on g7, you go rook g8, right? And then you execute your tactic, or you just win the knight. So I have to do something about it. And
knight b3.
Yeah, you're. Okay.
But okay, I guess knight takes c2 is still an issue.
Yeah, and the fact that I don't mind sacrificing this, but the fact that I have to move my king bothers me. Yeah, there's being asked if there's an Indian team playing, and there is. We're used to seeing India in the top, but this team is somewhat lower rated, so they are playing the lower boards, but they are participating indeed. Of course India's participating.
Of course.
They are everywhere these days. I mean, 4 players in the final 8 of the World Cup, cannot stay unmentioned, it's impressive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now this looks very risky, because knight takes a1, knight takes...
I mean, the knight on a1 is trapped at least, so you should be able to pick that up, even if you go king c1, king b1.
True. But is your king fine? What happens if I take here? Do you mind about your king? Do you care?
Well, I guess I should care, but maybe I have the check bishop b5. I want to play that.
Okay. Right, I don't have bishop d7, of course. So I can defend my pawn.
Yeah. Not very clear.
It's very hard to figure out who's better and why.
Yeah.
Well, the engine probably gets like +3 or something like that, but when you're playing, you're not entirely sure. Maybe you missed some calculation. Okay, so...
Actually, this is almost on the board in a different way, because a3 was played first.
Yeah, after bishop c5, a3. Ah, okay. That is probably a clever move. Now knight takes d5 and bishop b5. Then the question is, what's happening on g7?
Yeah.
I suppose you're going to play bishop. I mean, you can also play king f8. It's not such a weird move.
No, it looks completely fine.
Yeah, just defend the pawn, and you're still attacking the knight. You can take on c3, maybe weaken some stuff. Maybe there's this queen b6, queen a5 ideas, just putting more pressure on some pieces.
Yeah, it feels like black is the one that is able to launch an attack here, whereas white's pieces are a bit scattered over the board, and it's not very clear what the plan is of white.
Yeah, there's just one piece hanging every time, it seems, which slows white down massively. Yeah, he goes king f8. Nice. Yeah, it feels like the tempo move to play, just to keep the initiative. Or try to get the initiative.
Yeah, and black is not in a rush to develop because a lot of the pieces are developed already, and it's okay that the rook on h8 is for now out of the game. It will be involved at a later stage probably.
He goes knight d to e2.
Very solid.
It's healthy though for white. You can still castle both ways.
Yeah.
I do like white though.
I have a good point for both sides, because it's really hard to see how white can attack, but it also seems like white is not having any issues. The position seems pretty balanced. I mean, the bishop can go out to d7 of black easily. White's bishop can also go out to g5, but yeah, I have a feeling that the pieces will be traded off very soon.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna go bishop d3 back, maybe bishop d2, just castle queenside, maybe even. You want to keep some pieces. I agree. If you do exchange some minor pieces, then you're probably fine. But I think white can give black a hard time there and keep some pieces on the board. We'll see how Arthur is gonna solve his issues, because I think he has some things to solve before equalizing. Shall we head to board 3?
Yeah, I'm seeing 3 pawns of black on the 6th rank. That's usually not a good sign. So let's take a look.
I think this is the familiar. As I said, Parajasai Kumar is a solid chess player, as we can see, going c3. And
The London?
Yeah, going for the London. And black goes for an instant knight h5. Bishop e. So this resembles the slow Slav, but then with reversed colors. And now I need to use some brain power to figure out what's the big difference and why it matters. So f6 is very common. So you go bishop e5 to provoke f6, because if you take the bishop after pawn takes, your knight is not very happy.
Oh yeah, that's not very nice.
Yeah, you have to go g6, but it doesn't look too pretty. So you go f6, bishop goes back, and now you can take the bishop if you like, which is your plan eventually. But you can also wait. Wait for white to castle kingside maybe, before opening up the h-file. Bishop d3, and black takes on d4.
Okay.
It's pretty familiar territory if you're playing semi-Slav or the slow Slav.
Right. Does black want to push e5 at some point?
Maybe. Well, if you can push e5 and your pawns don't get weak.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you want to play e5. I'm not sure how you're gonna pull it off safely. How do we recapture, by the way? C pawn, e pawn?
Usually in the London you take with the e pawn.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular position, I guess you want to take with the e pawn to have the e file open.
Yeah.
If you put a rook on e1, at least you can try to stop
protected.
e5.
Yeah, stop e5 and pressure e6. Yeah, that makes sense. He takes with the e pawn. Good choice. Also, his opponent is very young. I mean, they're all young to me, but he's even younger.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this event. They're all young, and it's really awesome to see. And seeing them represent their national team, it's a really unique event.
Yeah, I always wonder, like, how many of these players will get like 2,700 or top 10 maybe. Maybe we'll see the next world champion sitting here.
One of them could be, and we don't know yet.
We don't know, and now we'll wish we played him or her, and because you might have played the next world champion or the future world champion.
True. And I really like the mixed gender teams here, where there's one board where there's one player that's a girl, and there's 3 boys, and the girl.
There's, I think, one team with 4 girls. 2 girls. 2 girls.
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Georgia, for example.
Georgia.
Ah.
So yeah, it's not one girl, 3
It's
boys.
not
It's just
fixed, but
both
you
genders, and then you can do whatever you like.
Oh, that's really amazing. And it's really awesome that they're not on a fixed board, as you see often in other tournaments where the women's board is fixed. No, they're shuffled around, and they'll be playing against basically everyone else.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
So ED4 and bishop G7. Yeah, so black's just gonna wait with taking the bishop until white castles kingside, and I mean, white's position is fine, no weaknesses, all healthy moves, but black, I also quite like black, because as you mentioned, you have e5 at your disposal, you have some things to try with your pawns. Looks interesting.
For sure. It's a good start. I'm curious to see how the game will develop as we are approaching the middle game.
Let's check board 4.
Sounds good. Oh.
In this case, the ladies do play each other, and she's already looking so confident again. But she did spend time in the opening, that's the first. Miao Lu spent time in the opening against Dan. That's almost news. It's she blitzed out every opening. I'm shocked now to see that she spent time. Sicilian. And
Very popular opening.
Yeah, and the classical Sicilian, bishop g5, e6, queen e2, a6, knight takes c6, pawn takes, castle, bishop d7. I think normally you play bishop e7 first, and this bishop waits and
Makes sense.
sometimes goes to a6 or just stays at c8. So bishop d7 might have been surprising. And you're all, don't know about you, but I'm always calculating e5 and always coming to the same conclusion. Doesn't work.
It is very tempting. I'm personally not super familiar with this line. I think I've played it maybe once, and then there are some lines that you take on f6, and there's those double pawns on the f file. But yeah, it is very tempting to play e5. Is it possible in this position?
Well, what happens normally is d5, and you're like, oh, I can take on f6 now, and the queen can't take because queen d7 checkmate. So like, I'm getting close now, yeah, I'm having some ideas here. And then you want to go knight e4, threatening knight f6, once again, same idea. And then black goes bishop e7, and here you're like, oh, there's got to be something in the position. And you think, and you think, and you think, and nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Nothing every time.
You want to play
nothing.
knight d6, but then maybe king f8, queen h6, king g8, and
Yeah, you think about this, oh, and takes, and then I have pressure, but
Yeah.
every time you're like, oh, maybe there's king f8, and you have check, and it's check, it's almost mate, and then, yeah, there's too many pawns. Maybe here it is winning, by the way. Maybe
bishop,
here you got.
maybe you're in time with. Oh wait, actually.
Okay, this might be actually winning.
The one exception.
So apparently you're supposed to take, and oops, queen takes, and then I guess queen e7 might just
Okay.
hold everything.
Yeah.
So every line you're like, there's still one defense, and the thing is, if it doesn't work, then you're just down a pawn, and
Yeah, you're just worse. And the pawns there in the center, they may seem very weak as they are doubled, but I believe that's their strength in this situation.
yeah, I'm pretty convinced as soon as you can make Tetris shapes, you're doing fine. That's my philosophy about those clustered pawn formations.
It's a really nice one.
Yeah, you shouldn't go for this Tetris shape, by the way, but the other ones usually are pretty okay. Yeah, so e5 it often doesn't work. So normally you still decide you're going to play f4 first, and then black goes bishop e7, and you start calculating again, and you come to the same conclusion. e5 often not winning anything. But then you still play it because you spent like 10 minutes on it now, so you have to commit to it at some point. And here it might work though. Let's see. Dana is thinking, and her opponent, of course, is very confident once again. We don't. Let's just. Yeah, no, she's like, yeah, just play d5. Good luck. I like the attitude.
I love the camera views. We have so many cameras installed in the playing hall, so it's really awesome. We can just switch around and see the players from up close, because sometimes the cameras are far away and you don't really see the players too well, but now we see them from up close. It's really cool.
Yeah, especially in time trouble, it's crazy. Okay, let's calculate a little bit. What's going on here? Let's just go for the logical move, or maybe the simple one. What happens if we take? I suppose we take back.
Right.
And then I guess the standard move is to go knight d5.
Yeah, that seems very appealing.
So, okay, you could take, for example, I'm just trying some things here. Knight e4, which looks nice because you have the d6 square.
For sure.
But if black just castles, I mean, you can put your knight there, but what's the point?
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you have this nice square occupied, but what's next? It doesn't really do much.
Yeah. And also you have the c4 maybe, but knight b6 seems to defend.
Ooh, and after c5 you just go back to d5.
Yeah, and then you can still put the knight here, but the question once again, is it doing something there? I mean, the bishop is looking awful, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you can maybe go f6, get the bishop out.
Yeah, the bishop can come back to life, yeah.
This king is also quite exposed.
True.
So it looks very appealing to white to have this beautiful knight on d6, but you always have to ask yourself, is it really useful to have my knight there? So Black can take, and I think black can also first play knight to d5. But I'm not sure if this is this possible. Takes on d6. Take on g5. But now white is just winning a pawn.
You can take on c3 and there's no queen takes.
Yeah, so pawn takes, and then we probably have to isolate. I mean, if white manages to push c4, c5, then it's looking strong. But maybe we have to isolate the pawn. But this is a bit unclear. I'm not sure if black is happy because this one is very difficult to recapture with the very natural defenders here on the d file. So I guess you want to take on e5. We have. I'm getting carried away. They have already played moves. Yeah, she took an e5. Pawn takes. Okay, we have this line on the board. Knight e4.
Okay.
I guess we'll find out how strong the knight on d6 is going to be because she's clearly heading there. Unless she goes for this bishop d3 and knight g5 stuff, but
That's also very possible, yeah.
I guess both sides are happy. A bit lame, but okay.
Yeah, the c6 pawn, I'm not a fan of it, but for now, yeah, we'll have to see what white is going to play, and I think black will react to that, and that's how the game will proceed.
Yeah, I think so too. Shall we pick up the other match?
Yeah, sounds good. We have Kazakhstan against Azerbaijan on board 2, and yeah, we have in Kazakhstan is Alua Nurmanova playing. She's very strong, a girl. She's had some.
You sound like you know her.
Her name is really familiar. I'm trying to recall from what tournament, but I believe she has some really good performances recently. So yeah, really excited to see her game.
Well, we can check her game first, of course.
Sure. We see in her game she has played this move d5. I believe it's also Sicilian, but let's take a look.
And I guess no, she's playing. That is
Yes.
Alua Nurmanova. Yeah, so she's playing black against Narmin Abdinova, and is this the position? Yeah, it is. Shall we briefly check the opening?
Sure. Yeah, it was a Sicilian.
Yeah, f3. This is a nice attempt to try and play the Maroczy bind against the Najdorf.
Very clever.
I think black is supposed to play e5 and d5. I think there's a very concrete theoretical line you can just check in the database, and black should be doing good. But if you go for a6 and c4, and now you're not having your Najdorf again. And this is what bothers most black players if they face this opening. b4.
Oh.
But she comes well prepared because she plays d5.
Yeah, this is another situation where in the Sicilian, if you get to play d5, especially in the Maroczy bind, if it works, you're doing a really good job. And it seems like in this position, it looks really good.
Yeah, you have this position as white quite a bit, right?
Yes, that's true.
If I'm not
Whenever I
mistaken.
see b5 or d5 against me, I'm not very happy with my position anymore.
No.
Because now black is getting so much space, and at the same time, white's pieces are not doing so much anymore because the attention is on the b6 pawn, but b6 is very well defended. So what do you do now?
Yeah, you committed to b6 with knight a4, but what's your plan? And the thing is, what the big problem for white is, because the Maroczy bind looks very healthy, often with pawns like this. Now it's on b4, but okay. The problem is if you go d5 and you exchange everything, just to show you what happens, is that, sorry, this move is quite ugly. You just weakened your pawn structure, this bishop is undefended, your king is always going to be somewhat unsafe on the diagonal, and that's just a big downside for white. And now also the b4 pawn is under pressure, so you're in some trouble. You can't really take on d5 comfortably, so you have to come up with something else. But that's very difficult because there's no support for the move e5.
Yeah.
There is limited support for the move c5 because e4 is just hanging, and I don't really see how you're going to make that work. So I think you have to take on d5
At least capture
and
with
then
e-pawn.
play c5. I guess it's
Yeah.
almost the only try.
Yeah, c5 is a typical move for white, but usually the attempt is to do that before d5 is on the board. So Yeah, now in this position with a pawn on d5, at least black is gaining a lot of space, and yeah, it's really easy for black to develop here with rook c8. The other rook can go to e8, and white's pieces are in very unpleasant places.
Yeah, and king's still in the center. It doesn't look like it's a problem, but you need to spend a move on castling.
Yeah.
So, and you can't spend a move on anything else. But is it already trouble here for white? I mean, can we win the pawn? For example, bishop c6.
No. I guess you still have knight d4.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll take on a4. You'll take back, I
Yes.
suppose. And okay, I'm just gonna grab everything, see if it works.
And is there knight c6? Of course, the white king is still in the middle of the board, so that is a concerning factor.
Do you take on e7?
I guess I have to, but I'm a bit worried about my bishops on the e-file.
Yeah, it's getting tricky now.
Yeah.
Because you also need to recapture the pawn, you need to castle, you need to protect your e3 bishop if you take. And this is also hanging now. King is still unsafe.
Yeah, this looks like trouble for white.
So what can we try then? Do we have another move here? We can take on b6.
Yeah.
No, we can take on b6.
Okay, after knight takes b6, pawn takes, the pawns are doubled, and they seem pretty weak. At least you have knight d7.
Knight d7 makes sure you win back the b pawn, right? You also threaten. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a good move, but there are ideas with the check now, winning back the knight. Okay, but maybe if you just castle, allow knight b6, and just put a piece on d4, maybe just go bishop d4, play a3, or maybe a4 if you have the chance.
Okay.
It looks fine for white, right? I'm not a big fan of this isolated pawn.
Yeah, it really stops black from making having a good position.
Yeah. Yeah. So after d5, she's
still thinking.
Yeah, she's still thinking. But I think she has no choice. I think you have to go ed5 and c5. Else, I don't see how you're gonna save this pawn, and you don't really want to open up by capturing twice. So. I don't see how she has any options here apart from taking on d5 with the e pawn and pushing the c pawn. But okay. Her opponent seems bored. Takes too long. Just take my pawn. Just take it.
It's really good to have some sort of poker face at the board,
Mm-hmm.
not show any emotions, and well, the angrier you look, the more intimidating you are.
I always hate it when you're playing like a strong opponent
Yeah.
and he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there like, I don't care. And you're like, I'm winning a pawn, right? And you win the pawn and he's just sitting there like, and you're like, wait, is it bad that I won the pawn?
Yeah, you start to question yourself.
Yeah. Well, if you're playing a lower opponent, you're like, yeah, dude, I just won a pawn, just resign now. And against a stronger opponent, you're always like, but is he still confident about his position? What's going on? Please, someone tell me. Yeah, having a poker face is powerful, but also the strong emotions can be disturbing. Is someone like, oh, and they're just so upset. You're like, you're getting kind of nervous because you're like, oh, I need to. And then when they suddenly stop being upset, and you're like,
that's when it's trouble.
What happened? Did he just calm down, or did I miss something, or is he happy again?
And some players are really expressive. For example, Hikaru Nakamura, of course, he's very expressive during the games, and it's always a lot of fun. But I can imagine that as an opponent, it can be quite intimidating. You never know what he means with his expressions.
Yeah, it's always nice when you see many of these clips online where they, for example, like Carlsen is playing and then Nakamura is walking past and Kiri is walking past and they're like,
yeah. Yeah, that's very
And you're
classic.
like, dude, it's not even your game, just relax.
Ah,
Yeah.
I love to see that.
All right. Yeah, what board shall we pick up now? Because
Let's see.
or just all of them. Just let's go from 4 to 1. Let's pick up board 3.
Sounds good.
We want to see them anyway, so.
I'm not seeing anything major happening on the boards now, so let's take a look at board 1 of this match between Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Here we're seeing Ansat against Samadov, and also another Sicilian.
Mm-hmm.
We still have time to go through the opening moves here. Another Najdorf, with knight f3,
Okay.
h3, g4. I mean, we've seen similar stuff throughout the entire tournament. Also a quick d5,
Mm-hmm.
but white seems to be well prepared. He goes knight b3, queen d8, takes on d5, knight takes, bishop takes, and rook g1. Knight c6, queen d2, and rook to c8 we just saw being played by Mr. Samadov. And
Okay.
you have these lines where you allow black to play d5. I mean, like this line, and you go like rook g1 and g4, and you go bishop g2 maybe. And the engine says like, no, it's fine, you have a small edge, just, you know, you're doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sit behind the board and you have to come up with the move yourself, and you're like, how am I fine? Black achieved everything, like look at my pawn structure, how am I fine?
Yeah.
I find these lines very difficult to play, even though the engine might agree. It's tough because I don't see what white is going to do. Black looks so healthy with the extra center pawn, healthy pieces. And he just played c3 to control some squares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps a lot that there's no knight on f6. Usually that's one of the targets in this position where you push g5, you push the h-pawn, but now there's no knight on f6 and it feels so empty on the king side, but at the same time black is covering the squares very well on the king side. So I also don't really see how white is going to launch an attack, and especially with the bishop on e7 and queen on d8, those pieces are looking right at the square h4. There's no h4 as well.
Yeah, so you can forget about the attack.
Yeah, pretty much.
You have to go all
but then
positional.
what do you have?
Yeah, I think what you could try is to go for the light squares, because you have some control over f5, and also you can claim that you can try to control e4. So maybe you wanna, I mean, you can castle queenside. That's one idea. And I was considering a move like bishop g2, where you're trying to exchange the light square bishop, maybe exchange queens and try to get your knight to e4, which could be a very nice outpost if black is not able to play f5, but it feels a little bit far-fetched. And as black, I would just castle and maybe there's this. I'm not sure if white castles queenside if there's some sort of a pin or annoyance along the d file, but it should be okay, right? If
Yeah, I guess you can just move the bishop.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, huh?
Yeah, and the
Bishop
queen
e6.
doesn't really have squares to attack pieces to launch a discovery attack.
Queen c2, yeah, but it's
Doesn't do much.
no. And you gotta be careful because there's also knight b4,
Oh,
and with a2 and the bishop, and
it's a very good point.
yeah, it can be very tricky. I mean, there's ways where you can get tricked, and black has some tactics working there. So I just don't really like whatever white's doing, even though objectively it might just be fine, but it's nope, not my kind of position here. Okay, we'll see how it develops. I see another Najdorf on the second board between Ahmad and Sapenov. Let's look at that game.
Let's see. Another h5 type of position, but this time white went long castle and the black king seems safe on f8. Let's take a look.
Yeah, so we have this h5 Najdorf again, as we saw in the game from Greece against Israel.
Yes.
But here, as you mentioned, white castled queenside, as white is supposed to do, I think. And black is aiming for the d5 pawn, which is very typical. Queen a5, bishop h6, takes, queen d2, and f4. I think that's a clever move, because if you wait for too long and you keep all your pawns on light squares, it might be troublesome with your bishop at some point. You might have some strategical issues. So opening up looks logical with the black king in the center. No longer being able to castle because the rook just went up and down. I've already heard from the arbiters that there were a few games where illegal moves were played and the game just went on because no one noticed.
Oh wow.
That's always happens in these events. King f8, and here it's white to move. And also this is a difficult position for white, I think. Well, it's not, once again, objectively you're completely fine, but I find it hard to come up with a logical plan here.
Yeah.
Because this guy is... what's he gonna do?
It's going to face Walsey with the pawn chain on the queen side and also the king side. So
And his own pawn.
And his own pawn. So yeah, it doesn't really have any entry points, and it makes it really difficult to see what to do. Yeah, your pawns are also not really going places. It's really really difficult.
Do we play f5 ever?
Doesn't seem like a bad idea to destroy this pawn chain.
Mm-hmm. Because I think if black takes, we will be able to, at least with queen g5 you can recapture.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we want to play it slower and go bishop h3 maybe, or then knight g4.
I think you're happy to take that knight off, even if it costs a pawn. Because with the king on f8, maybe you can launch an attack at some point.
True.
But maybe it's not worth it.
What, he played something else, right? Did I? Yeah, I saw him make a move. Queen b4.
Uh-huh.
The simultaneous
Yeah, it's a very logical move because of course there's a pawn hanging on d6, and how do you defend this?
Well, queen c7 seems the logical move to just defend both pawns.
Maybe now you want to play bishop h3, because if the knight moves, then you take on e5, and there's lots of threats there.
Yeah, so the knight is not going to move, and then you just want to exchange the bishop, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And can you keep the tension as white? Because I'm going for my golden opportunity to play a4 and a3 all with tempo.
Oh. Yeah, that seems very unpleasant. I want to play queen a3, but I already see the trouble happening with my queen getting trapped.
Yeah, it looks a bit tricky. It looks a little bit tricky.
I think I'll play. I would try queen a3.
Now I do want to trap the queen somehow. But I don't think, I'm just going to go for a4. I think I'm just going to disturb your coordination enough here to make you regret that move.
Okay, at least. Okay, well, actually, a takes b3 is a threat.
Yeah, it's a weird threat, but it is. Let's say you play a random move, you do take, it seems pinned, but there's king g7, and now there's this attack and there's this checkmate threat. So you can't entirely ignore this.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. I really wanted to capture the knight on d7 and then try to survive, but I feel like with the threats a takes b3, it seems very unpleasant.
And trying to survive doesn't sound well for white.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't want to try to survive, then something went wrong. So
yeah, a5 seems like a really good move.
yeah, so might have to play something more concrete here, and I'm not sure what that is. I'm pretty sure white is fine, but I just don't see what move you're supposed to play.
Maybe simply knight a5. It's a very strange move,
yeah.
but it's the one way to stop a5.
Okay, it's a good move. It's a good move. Okay, so is it a good move?
That's a quick.
First giving compliments and then never mind. Are you going to c4 or c6? That's the big question here, I think. It's difficult. I mean, if black manages to play knight c5 without any consequences, then black is fine, but it's quite difficult to pull that move off because there's this fe5 threat and b6 and d6 are potentially weak.
I guess knight c4, is that winning a pawn?
I don't know. It might be.
Because now I'm also threatening knight takes e5.
Ah, right, you're attacking also this one. Ah. Yeah, then going b6 and chasing your knight to your perfect square might not be such a brilliant idea. let's forget it. Yeah, okay, knight a5 looks like a good move. I like this one. Interesting position. It's still black to move, by the way. Black is still thinking about the position here. Whether he goes queen c7 or maybe something else like queen b8. I'm not sure if it makes any difference, but he can try and see if there's another solution to this problem maybe. I'm not sure if there is a problem, but yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 pawns hanging, so you have to take care of that.
Yeah, well, the question is, do you? What happens if you sacrifice your b pawn? Do you
That's a
mind?
good point.
Do you get some attacking chances? Do you want to spend time now just developing your pieces? Okay, yes, some options, I think. We'll see what he does. Let's head to briefly checking if not something super exciting is going on.
I think the game between Miao Yi Lu against Dana Verheij is very interesting.
Ah, we should check that one. Yeah, we
I
should.
see White is launching an attack with a knight on f6, so let's see if it's working out.
She is attacking her natural habitat. We left the game after knight e4. Castles, c4, we saw this, knight b6, queen f2.
Ooh.
Rook b8 and knight f6. Okay, very simple, you can't take, because if you take, pawn takes, queen has to go to some square like b4, but there's always queen g3 and queen g7 checkmate. So you go king h8 and here queen h4. Yeah, Dana is thinking about it because okay, let's just check this first. Let's get the easy things out of the way. Takes queen c5, bishop d3.
Ooh, that seems very dangerous.
And then h5.
h5.
It's my only move.
Queen f4.
That should win, right?
Oh yeah, I don't see defense. King is cut off. Oh.
I think I'm getting some intel about Mrs. Liu. She actually had a peak rating of 23.99 FIDE. That's
wow.
That's she lost some points, around 200 points, which I mean, young age you do have swings in your rating. We've all been there, so that's why she's quite a bit underrated. But she's proven to be around that strength, so that's good to know. Explains a lot.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I believe she's playing a lot of those tournaments in China, and I feel like in Asia the ratings are often like lower than they should be. So yeah, I've recently been facing a lot of underrated players, and yeah, I know all about it. That yeah, when they come to Europe, they're gaining rating, but then in their own countries or in their own areas, they're losing rating because the players are simply underrated. It's really hard to tell their actual strength is, but I'm pretty sure that Liu is a very strong player.
Yeah, and she doesn't have it from a stranger, as we say in Holland. Her mother is a woman grandmaster, so there's
the family.
It's running in the family. Yep. So I'm curious to see how far she will reach. I predicted her to score 100% after like 2 rounds. So let's see if she manages to do so. But if she actually had 2400, then at board 4, well, you were rating favorite every match.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Okay, G6 not possible.
Yeah, so you have to commit to h6.
Yeah, that's what she did.
Okay.
And now the annoying thing as white is that you always have to keep an eye on your knight. You can't just move around freely. You can't say, oh, just threaten checkmate here, because there's always this one that might destroy your ideas. And it's pinned also. So you don't have too many options here. Bishop d3 feels very natural. Threatening queen e4.
Ah, yeah.
Shall we have a look?
Sure. It doesn't feel so forcing. It feels like black has some time to recover and maybe launch a counterattack on the queen side.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have to probe now. Oh.
I know that's your style, so you'll be fine.
I'm debating between knight a4 and queen b4. I'm not sure which one I want to play first. I guess queen b4 to keep other threats in the position alive. Because after queen e4, at least I have g6.
Yeah. Yeah. You might. Okay, I'm just gonna
King g7.
g7. I'm just gonna try and see if I can brute force my way through somehow.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I can take that. Yeah, I think I can take
Yeah,
it.
you should at least consider king g8.
Oh, queen takes h6.
And then f5 seems to be like your only shot at defending, right?
Yeah.
It's getting questionable now.
Rook f7.
Rook f7.
Still
We're
holding
fine.
on.
Nothing. Just keep on walking, people. Nothing happening here. We're all fine.
It feels like there is a checkmate, but I don't see it because you need the help of the rooks.
Okay, let's bring the rooks. You might have queen f8 now.
Okay, I guess you can start getting defensive. I'm just very curious to have some knight takes c4, but I guess I don't.
Can you take an f6, by the way?
That's a very good question. I guess
C4
you
also
give a
hanging
check
with
on h7 and h8.
Yeah.
Or are you running to d8?
You're just gonna pick up this rook.
Ah,
first.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So taking on f6 is pretty bad. But you wanted to take on c4, right? With the knight or the queen?
Well, with the queen, the king goes to b1, and I feel like that's it.
Okay,
But with
fair
knight,
point.
after knight takes, there's bishop takes f7, I believe.
Yeah, this is
This must be checkmate.
pretty bad news for you, because I can also take here with check and
This is lost in many
gonna have some
different ways.
fun. There might be this might be a checkmate. Queen f8, queen e6, something like this.
Yes.
Yeah, should win. Okay.
Yeah, so black is, I mean, it looks like black is able to do something on the queen side, but it's too slow. White
Yeah.
is just launching the attack very quickly by tempo, and there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, you need 2 moves to actually threaten checkmate,
Yeah.
and that's a
It
lot
seems
of moves.
pretty deadly, but it's not happening just yet.
No, and I think here you also have king h7, but then this looks devastating.
Oh.
And maybe you can try king g8, but then I also wanted to play this one, which is similar to what we just saw,
Yeah.
because you still have to take
The
the
same
knight,
line.
and we get the same line now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so why to move here, right? Yeah, she hasn't made a move. But bishop
Yeah.
d3 looks powerful.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if she may be considering other moves, for example, g4 to.
Just play bishop d3.
Wow.
I mean,
So classy.
the move she could consider might have been rook d6,
Ah.
but just to kill all the counterplay.
Right.
But it feels a bit strange to play such a move while you're just attacking. It's
Yeah, it feels like the rook doesn't belong there because of the attack.
yeah. But she played bishop d3. Now the big question is, can black defend? Because the threat is very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, not so much.
Yeah. It's really difficult to see because the bishop on d7 is out of the game as well. You're not in time to defend with that bishop. And yeah, the pieces of black are simply misplaced to have a counterplay of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
You already have to start considering sacrificing material to be in time, but even that doesn't really seem promising.
No. Now look at knight d5. That's complete nonsense. You can just ignore and still go queen e4. Okay, let me try. Why am I doing this to myself? Okay, I feel like I want to play this one. I'm not sure why, but it feels like a move I want to play. I guess queen e4.
It seems useful. Mm-hmm.
g6.
Yes.
Oh, this looks awful. But okay, at least our queen is still here. Oh wait, but now after queen h4 there's no king g7 because knight h5 check is winning the queen.
Oh no.
So that means we have to play, but we can play, no.
Oh, there's no knight takes h5.
No, there's queen g5.
Oh, yeah, that's...
And king g7 once again knight h5. And this is just checkmate. Okay,
Wow.
so we need to defend the queen. So what about, or we need to be able to go queen f8. Okay, what about rook d8? Is this a try to hold?
Oh, I like that move.
So queen e4, g6, queen h4, I guess still is our main plan.
Yeah.
But now we have queen f8.
Uh-huh.
I'm not proud of my position as black, but
no, but at least you're holding on
I'm
for
holding,
now.
yeah. It's the first time we're holding as black.
This is progress.
This is progress indeed.
But I guess white still has some g4, g5. But okay, to be honest, even if you get to take the pawn on h6, it doesn't seem like the attack will ever continue.
And now if you have time, you can start to play knight a4, maybe knight c5
Mhm.
to pressure the bishop a bit. You can even do things. Interesting. Let's leave it to Dana to try and find the defense here.
Mhm.
We need to check, because now things are speeding up. We need to check the interesting boards.
Let's see what we have.
Shall we have a look at Turkey?
Sure.
Because we haven't seen them
Turkey
yet.
against France.
And I think the second board seems interesting, right? Yeah. Is the second board
Ooh.
interesting?
Yeah.
Let's just check the second board. Why not?
Let's take a look.
Let's see if I can find it here. There it is. Board number 2.
Manon Schipke. A very Dutch name, but she's playing for France.
Indeed.
And she's playing on board 2.
Yeah, so we talked about Erdogmus, who is, we mentioned, maybe the most talented player around here, because he's only 12, maybe even still 11, and has 2500 FIDE rating.
Wow.
I mean, many years ago you would know his name already because that was so crazy, but these days it's getting
It's
normal
common.
almost, yeah. I mean, if you're 12 and you don't have 2500, you just, what are you doing here?
Yes.
So, no, he's a very big talent, and he has a very big position.
Yeah,
What
so
happens here?
there's a lot of threats in the position. I mean, with the queen on f5 and rook e4, I'm sensing there is going to be a kingside attack. But at the same time, the queen on b7 seems like it can cover the h7 square.
Yeah, so very simple. You can't take the knight on a3, which Manon Schipke didn't do. Or Schipke, I'm not sure if I should pronounce it as a Dutch name. But rook g4 checkmate. So you need the bishop on the long diagonal, and therefore she played rook e8, trying to exchange that rook and also having this back rank threat.
Ooh.
Therefore defending, sort of defending the bishop on b2. And as you mentioned, rook h4, there's f6, and
Yeah.
you're defending along the 7th rank.
It's very interesting to see that Manon is up on the clock by quite a bit. She's 26 minutes on the clock, her opponent 15 minutes. So, yeah, and seeing the position, okay, the material is even, but this bishop on b2 seems pretty strong.
Yeah, this is the famous, I think it's the Sveshnikov by the looks of it. This is the famous Sveshnikov bishop. Your king side can be so terrible, your pawns can be so ugly, it doesn't matter. If you have your bishop, it's like the dragon, you will never get checkmated.
Yes.
So I think once she gets the chance, the thing is you can't really, you can still go bishop g7, because then after rook h4 you have h6. It's hard for white to checkmate, especially because this piece is completely out of play. Interesting.
Yeah, rook a8, very nice move, and
we have moves.
yeah, we have a move, rook h4.
f6, and knight c2. Threatening here because the defense.
Right.
Well, that's defense e1, and also after f6, now your bishop is not so happy anymore because it doesn't have a good square to go. Because bishop e5 can always run into f4. I'm not saying you want to play it, but you're running out of squares. At least risk running out of squares. So a bit tricky like this.
Yeah. Yeah, black's pawns are scattered over the board, and it makes it difficult to really find a good square for that bishop. Yeah, it seems like the white knight could get involved in the attack. But okay, for now, black is holding on very well, and yeah, the square is h7 is very well defended. It's really hard for white to find some good square to attack.
Agreed. Shall we check the third board?
Sure.
There's things happening there.
Ooh.
Position looks a bit weird to me. Last move was bishop takes. What happened here? d5, ed5, e4. That's clever. Black is just sacrificing a pawn to open up, winning back the pawn even. And now material is up a pawn for black. For now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have trouble counting.
But okay, there's also a pawn a5 very weak.
Weak.
And yeah, there's lots of weak pawns.
Weak. I mean, everything is hanging.
Everything is
As soon as the rook comes in, it's all hanging. Yeah, Bigun Bat against Eray Kilic. Those are the players sitting at the third board on this camera view. The annoying thing is you want to play like a tempo move. Let's say rook b1, but then there's bishop c3 attacking the knight. But you can take on e4 also with tempo attacking the bishop.
I'm sensing that all the pawns will get captured because I'm failing to see how either side can hold on to the pawns. I mean, you can try, of course, but it seems the most sensible to capture the pawns if you are able to.
So let's say rook b1, bishop c3, knight takes,
rook takes,
knight takes, pawn takes, rook takes, knight moves.
Can you take on d5?
I can take on d5. Take on d5, take on c3. This is what you mean, right?
Yes, and then all the dust is cleared.
And it's a draw. Lame.
Or is there some other move that we're
I
missing?
mean, you have rook a2, which is also defending the knight, giving you some extra options. Maybe rook takes b7 here. But also now you can take.
All comes down to the same.
Take, draw. Well,
Yeah.
maybe black is hanging on to this pawn now. But okay, there's probably a clever way to go into these exchanges to make a draw for both sides. But yeah, you're right. It feels like there's a lot of pieces coming off the board very soon. Fourth board seems to be very decisive. What's happening there between Turkey and France? That is a cut against Patol. I should stop trying. Knight c6 happened there, and black sacrificing the exchange. That's maybe necessary, but doesn't feel like it solves the issues here for black. Probably just go for rook e1, try to be annoying on the 6th, 7th rank.
Yeah, the rooks seem pretty strong. This bishop on a6 seems nice, but unfortunately for black, I don't think there is much that the bishop can do here.
Even if you go here, the queen is just defending g2,
Exactly.
so nothing to worry about. Rook e1 played, yeah. Looking strong for white. Okay, shall we head back to the first board?
Yeah, let's do it.
First match, first board. Or at least the first match. I'm just going to see what is happening there. We have this little overview with some evaluation bars, seeing that indeed Liu is having a big advantage on board 4. And China is also doing well with Xiao Tong on the second board. And the Dutchies are in trouble.
Yeah, because Dana played the move knight a4. We were discussing that rook d8 might be the only way to hold on. She's going for some counterplay, but as we saw already, knight a4. After this move, there's queen e4, and there are very few moves that black has to stop the attack.
Yeah, there she is, intimidating Luke, the focus. Can't stand it. Let's go to the third board, because the second board, because there's a lot of action. And
Let's take a look.
We see Xiao Tong thinking about his move. And because we left the game here, and a lot of things happened since. King f8, knight e2, bishop d7. White took the bishop, that's surprising to me. Bishop d2. And we'll just see how the game developed. White just developing pieces, trying to harass black a little bit on the king side there. g6. Wow.
f6 is a very brave move when with the king on f8.
Yeah. And it's white to move here actually. Yeah, maybe black had to, because king g7 is not really safe because of moves like this and bishop f6.
Ooh.
Even though you might have knight e5, I'm not so sure how this works. Bishop f6 you can take, but okay, it's messy either way, so I do understand the move f6. And bishop h4 is white's response, which also is a bit surprising, because now you can run into g5 and f4 in many occasions.
Maybe white is planning to sacrifice this bishop and go for the attack?
Yeah, most likely. That's every time you lose a piece. No, it's a sacrifice. Of course it's yeah, no, it feels dangerous to go g5, but okay. We have to see, right, what's happening here.
I want to capture the pawn on f5.
Yeah, I thought so. So I'll take here.
h3. Just a very simple move.
Yep. So now if I move my knight, you are gonna take on. Well, are you?
Depends, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So my backup is to take on f2 and just exchange some pieces there. But what happens after knight h6?
Well, you could take the pawn h5, but it feels like we don't need this pawn. So I would want to play queen g6 to try to keep attacking the pawn on f6 and, yeah, limit black's mobility.
That's working pretty well. I feel limited.
Yeah, that seems like a very unpleasant position for black.
If this move comes, it's terrible. There's knight d7.
Yeah, there's no
rook
way you
d7,
can survive that once it's on the board.
Yikes. Right.
Knight g8.
Yeah. Knight g8, rook h6, just hanging on for dear life. Yeah. No, that looks dangerous at least. But okay, you can keep the threat. Should we try like king g7 first? And that was the plan, right? You wanted to play f6 to play a king move, and
Yeah.
he played g5.
Ooh,
And
it's getting spicy.
h3 being played now.
Oh, h3 immediately. Wow.
So you don't have knight f2, but you have no, but
Now after knight h6, at least the pawn on f5 is defended.
yeah, but the bishop also has a flight square. He goes knight h6. I'm pretty sure white will go bishop g3, unless there's some b4 intermediate move causing trouble.
Ooh. It's really hard to say.
Because I think you have to go to b6.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Because after d6 there's his knight f6 once again attacking. So bishop b6.
Is there some b5 move as well? Or is that simply allowing queen takes c2?
Yeah, maybe. When the queens get off the board, then black's happy.
Yeah, for sure. It's really hard to see what's. It feels like there's a move that's going to. It's going to bother black a lot, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, queen e2 seems like a very nice one.
It's a bit, but it feels like it's too far-fetched. I mean, you can still play this one and go for queen g6, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel he played bishop g3 immediately, by the way.
Okay.
So no b4 inclusion. I think b4 would have been a clever inclusion because I think the bishop is ideally positioned on c5, protecting d6, e7, and also still having this diagonal. So okay, he played bishop g3, and Arthur's thinking about it. In the meantime, Dana had lost her queen.
Ooh, the way that we discussed with knight h5. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, we can show it quickly.
That hurts.
Just to keep people up to date about what's happening. So knight a4 happened. Queen e4, g6, queen h4, king g7, knight h5 check. Yeah, we just saw this. And this is game over because the attack is still going. There's this threat and this one.
This is resignable, yeah.
Yeah.
Very tough game for Dana, but very beautiful attack by Lou.
Yeah.
Very well played.
Yeah, the chewing gum is back again. Or at least it looks like she's killing it this tournament. And Dana is struggling. I'm just trying to see where the real action is happening because let's go back to Nurmanova. We saw that position with the d5 move.
Let's take a look.
We'll just have an overview of that match because we just want to see what's going on. And we can see it's still close. It's still very close between Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan.
Yeah, very balanced at the moment. Let's take a look at this game.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see what happened after d5. So cd5 was played, and e5. Okay, we missed something here because after knight e5 there's knight b6, of course.
Oh, there should have been a reason why d5 can be played against.
Yep. So knight a4, knight c5, a3, knight a6, castle. Okay, so white managed to castle. That's an important moment in the game because then you're finally done with developing all your pieces and getting your king safe. And if you are still, it's looking tricky. b5.
Ooh.
What a weird position. Queen b7. This is the current position, and white is thinking about what to do. She has the real chess thinking pose.
Yeah, there's the pawns on b5, a3 are weak, but I also see the strength of the pawn on b5. Yeah, really tough to see who is better here because the pieces are placed in such weird squares. For example, the bishop on a4 is in a very strange spot, but it's doing its job by pinning the knight on c2. And the knight on a6 is also in a strange spot.
Yeah, and b5 is hanging as well.
Yeah.
And if you lose b5, you might also lose your knight if you're not careful. Not just yet, because you have this knight c7 in the end, but it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So what about, let's force matters. What about queen d4?
I guess after, yeah, bishop takes b5. Yeah, there's this, after you take on b5 and there's a fork on c7.
But yeah, I thought maybe you have bishop c5 in the end, but the bishop is well protected, so don't expect any tricks there. So this doesn't look like it for black. But then where to? You go to b3? And c4 later on?
That seems like a really good square for the bishop.
And now the knight on a6 is the strange piece that might be in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see prospects for that knight either.
And the queen is a bit tricky here. I mean, it looks active, but there's always this bishop c5, bishop f6, and you're probably forced to move your queen again. Difficult position here. Let's I want to just see what's happening in this match. Third board? We haven't seen the third board, I guess.
Let's take a look.
Mamedov with white against Azadaliev as black.
Ooh, this seems, for some reason, I'm very displeased by black's position. It just looks strategically lost.
Yeah, these two.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it doesn't really seem nice for black.
Yeah, I guess you just want to take on c5 with the rook. And the knight is doing a good job protecting both the important squares, and then you can just double up queen d2, rook c1. Slowly improve.
Yeah, this bishop is out. Usually it's in these type of structures the bishop is stuck on b7, doesn't really do much. Now it's out on f5 at least, but it doesn't really do much. And this knight will soon dominate that bishop, and it may take a long time for white to convert this, but I have a feeling that white is going to win this game.
Yeah, yeah, he clearly has the best chances here. Alright, the second board. Let's check.
Let's see, I see king on e7, pawns on the d file. Okay.
Ahmad against Sapinov. White is thinking currently.
So material-wise, it's an exchange. So a bishop and 2 pawns for a rook. But the rooks of black are not developed at all, and they have to keep an eye on the pawn d7. But is there a way for white to defend this pawn d7?
Not really. I think also black is gonna put the king on d6. And then it's not so clear how you're gonna remove the king from d6.
Yeah.
And all your pieces might be staring at the d5 pawn, which is very upsetting.
Is there maybe knight c5? Is that possible to try with the threat to play d6?
Yeah, but I'm because I can't go king d6 now. Okay, then I have to go knight d6. Or just play b6. What are your okay. Then you have d6, right?
Yeah, it's sort of trading the material, and it might just turn into an equal endgame. But if you lose the pawn d7, you might even lose the game with white.
Yeah, that is true. I was also considering d6 immediately. Just to force things, but I'm not sure if we're happy to force this. Because it's difficult to get these two disconnected. Yeah, no, I like your knight c5. Looks better than this one. White doesn't really have the poker face though. He's he's the good old nervous kid. I love it.
I mean, White has so much time on the clock.
Yeah, his opponent does have the poker face mastered. I just love watching them. It's so much fun. You're being reminded of when you were young as well, and you were nervous like crazy about your games, and then you're sitting here relaxed, just commentating them, and you're like, you know what they're feeling like, and it's.
Yeah, it's very relatable. I mean, even to this day, during a game, you're still very stressed, and there's so much happening during a game. So, yeah, now we're just relaxed here watching them, and yeah, we know how they feel, but it's just super exciting.
Yeah, you miss the feeling, but on the other hand, you don't really miss the feeling. You like the nervousness, but then again, being relaxed also has its benefits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, little stare down in between. I love it. Good stuff. We can, by the way, mention that there are two results. We see Turkey winning on board 4 against France. That was expected after the exchange, and also China won against the Netherlands board 4. We saw that Lou beating Verheij. So those results are official now. And let's just update a few games, because we're now getting to the 10-minute mark for both sides.
Ooh.
This match is looking pretty close. Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan. Let's head to back to board 1, China against the Netherlands, where we can now see the results of the 4th board. And we also see that Xiao Tong is much better against Arthur de Winter. So we don't really use engines. We don't use engines at all. Only this overview will give us the evaluation bar, which is our only option or possibility to see what the engine actually thinks. And I'm surprised to see that White is so much better here. And here we see Xiao Tong just made his move, and Arthur de Winter now thinking about, oh, he doesn't look too happy. So what happened here? Because I thought the white bishop was going to be very passive on g3, but queen c4, queen e3. Okay, the queen's still not coming off the board, and bishop f8 is really locking in your own pieces there.
Yeah, this seems very unpleasant for black. Currently ideas arise such as knight takes f6, or maybe even bishop e5 first. The black pieces are not coordinated at all, so that makes it really difficult to hold on in this position.
Okay, elephant in the room, f4.
Okay. I have so many options. I can take, I can play queen e6.
You can't even choose.
I can't choose.
Everything is winning.
I'll start with bishop takes f4.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
And knight takes f4.
Take that piece with me. And now I'm gonna be super defensive. Can I take the pawn? No.
That would be very brave.
I want to go queen f7 just to defend.
I really want to get my rook on the 7th rank, but I guess that's not happening after queen f7.
Ah, okay. Sorry, it's easy, right? Queen g3 and rook e7.
Oh, well, there you go. You made it work.
You mentioned rook to the 7th rank. I was like, of course, that's winning. Yeah, now after queen takes, queen g6 checkmate. Yeah. Okay. No, that's if this is already winning, then there's many ways of winning probably. Did he play f4? He did. It's on the board.
Ooh.
f4, bishop takes f4. Now
we might see this on the board actually.
Now Arthur is okay. He's taking back.
He took it back.
And White is confident, trying to instantly recapture, but thinks about it. Take with the knight, exactly as you predicted. Yeah, now these pieces, I mean, it's all fun, but it's actually the light squares that you need to hold on to, and that's not really happening now. Okay, he played rook g8, I think. Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. Okay, the king is running to h8 now.
We have even more camera views. Look at this one.
Oh!
Love it. Okay, so we need to find a win.
Yeah, it does. Even if the king gets to h8, it doesn't feel safe there. But we have to prove it now. And do you just have queen g3 and knight g6?
Yeah, but I can go to h. Wait. If I go to h7, you have rook d7, right?
Yeah, I
Check the
want to
line.
enter with the rook.
So, and if I go here, you go knight g6.
Knight g6.
And then I go to h7, and then you still enter with the rook.
Yeah, that doesn't feel so safe.
He played knight e6. I think he saw some concrete win here. Rook g8, knight e6. Okay, so king h8 you can just take on f8. You pick up the knight.
That's very concrete.
And king h7, you can play rook d7, I guess.
Bishop g7? Is that holding on still?
Yeah, for now. Queen g3, is there any way to...
Yeah, I was thinking knight f5 is maybe annoying.
Yeah, you have knight f5. Just take it.
Yeah, that's the backup plan.
He's looking confident. China has the confidence. But I don't really see it just yet how it's... It feels like he's looking like it's a forced win, but I don't... Can you... No.
Really difficult to see. It's like black is just holding on. I'm not seeing the tactics for white anymore.
Yeah. Barely hanging in there. But that's enough. He played king h8. Okay, but that's just...
I wonder what was the issue with king h7 then?
Yeah, he just takes
Why
f8
didn't
now.
play it? Yeah.
You just want to see his reaction. He has an intermediate move. He plays knight f5.
That's very clever. Queen f3?
Yeah. And then knight... No, you have h5 here.
Yeah, that's hanging.
Maybe he's gonna play rook g2. Just to survive and get counterplay.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
Well, I think it's bad, but it's not completely crazy, maybe. But it's
I
just
mean,
still
the
be bad
knight
for
can
white.
enter on f3 maybe. I see
Yeah, but
some...
I think if you keep your king here and your queen somewhere on this diagonal,
yeah, that's true.
don't really see it happening. But okay, it's on the board actually.
Oh!
Oh no, wait, in a different...
A different...
Oh no, yeah, he plays it.
Yeah, it's... We're just guessing the moves over here.
Yeah, just predicting the future. It's a desperate attempt though. I don't really think it's gonna do anything special. Sorry, this is the current position. He's still thinking about recapturing with the queen, and he's like, yeah, okay, I have no choice. Now it's being recaptured, so okay, this is it. But okay, you have queen f3, king h1, queen d5. There's many moves. You'll probably manage with 8 minutes on the clock. And he goes for the instant. Well, not instant, but having second thoughts. But it looks like white's, or China is going to take a massive lead in this match.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure.
He played queen e4. Yeah, no, this is probably just winning in a few moves. Yeah, Arthur thinks the same about it, judging by the look on his face.
Oh, in the meantime, we have another result in the match between Turkey and France.
It's finished, right?
The whole match.
The whole match is finished.
It's very convenient. I'm seeing one game finished, but all of them are finished. And the reason why I wanted to point out this one game between Eray Kilic and Bilgun Bad, we thought this game would end in a draw. All the pawns will be traded. But all of a sudden, black managed to hold on to one pawn and win.
This is my cue to find the game.
Turkey against France. I'm actually not seeing it either.
Maybe
because it's finished. Yeah, there you go. At the
Right.
very
yeah.
bottom. On
Was
board
it
3.
board 3?
And we thought this game would end in a draw because all the pawns will be traded and there's not a lot to play for anymore. But all of a sudden,
What happened there?
oh, white
D6?
didn't take the pawn before, or e4 for that
Versus
matter.
knight c4 tricks?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just backfiring now.
Oh.
Yeah, it just backfired massively.
Oh wow. Yeah, and the b pawn is just running down the board.
And that's it. Yeah.
Wow, it can go wrong so quickly.
Strong
Oh.
victory there for Turkey. And also we see a result on the second board on the match between Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan that ended in a draw between Ahmad and Sapinov.
They repeated moves, there were checks given, and yeah, they simply repeated the moves. Makes a lot of sense because the game, I mean, the material is quite balanced, and with the pawn on d7 being defended. So d6 was played?
Yeah, d6 was actually played.
And here simply checks, okay.
Yeah, and a draw. Okay.
Fair result.
Yeah, fair result indeed. So what is happening in this second match? Let's just see what is still remaining.
Let's take a look.
Oh wow, Nurmanova seems to be close to winning, at least according to the engine. And also Kazakhstan is doing good on the third board. So let's see how board 4 is doing there, because that's obviously seems like the most interesting position at the moment, because we thought that the black pieces might be uncomfortable, but a queen d2 was played. That's not really doesn't seem that scary for black.
Yeah, it's simply stepping out of the pin, but at what cost?
Yeah, it's handing over the momentum. And now c3. What's the why? Ah, you can't take because of rook c8. Okay.
Oh.
Chess can be sometimes very easy. It's winning material, so you can't take the pawn. So she played queen d3, and also Abdinova, she's below 30 seconds, and Nurmanova still more than 10 minutes. And we can also see now that Xiao Tong won his game against Arthur de Winter as expected. So China taking a 2-0 lead over the Netherlands, which is good news for China, bad news for the Dutchies. But it seemed like a well-deserved victory there for Xiao Tong.
Very strong team, and yeah, we'll check in with the other games later. But for now, let's take a look at this game between Abdinova and Nurmanova. As yeah, Nurmanova is in a very nice position. The pawn on c3 seems very strong, and at the same time, the white knight on a6 is not really doing much.
No, and the bishop is doing something because it's now controlling c2. So black made his bishop useful.
Mm-hmm.
And white is so low on time. She played knight e5, bringing more pieces. That's how it's supposed to be. Queen f5, there it goes, but I suppose knight c4 is the logical follow-up, attacking e3 and c1, and also knight d2. And white has no counterplay, it seems. Yeah, looking good for Kazakhstan there. Yeah, there it goes, knight c4.
Very strong play by Nurmanova.
Yeah, and time's ticking, 15 seconds. Yeah, you see the famous, let's check my clock every 2 seconds. There's no time to think anymore. Bishop f4, but now allowing knight a3, or I think knight d2 is also winning, because simply d1 is unstoppable.
The pawn is promoting.
So you're gonna win material
Regardless.
Yes. The question is, how do you win the most?
Yeah, it's nice to have a lot of time on your clock so you can, you know, find the best move. Even if you have many good options, it's always nice to have the time for it. And I often like to take my time for this. It's very pleasant when you know you're winning And you also have a lot of time to calculate everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's a luxury position we all want to have. Right. That means that no, it's going fast everywhere. Where's my
Yes.
overview? My brain is not keeping up with what's going on here. Okay, also board 3 is still looking good. Kazakhstan also dominating the position here. We have a few more moves, but as you mentioned before, it's going to be a very strong knight against a very lousy bishop, and that's what makes the difference here. So Kazakhstan also doing well over there. And wait, what is? We have to go back. Abdinova is fighting, and she actually found. Sorry. Queen f5, knight c4, bishop, queen b6, queen e4, bishop f6, and now knight. Okay, but this is a desperate attempt. D4 is simply hanging with check. You can just take with the
Yeah,
queen,
that should
exchange
be.
queens, and
Yeah, it looks scary, but because of the knight on d4, indeed, it must be losing.
I saw the move. I was like, wow, knight c7. That's quite cool. Knight d5, but
Yeah.
okay, d4 is just hanging.
Yeah,
Alright.
too bad for Abdinova.
And then board 1, just to wrap up this match. Well, not wrap up the match, but at least see how, or see if Azerbaijan is still able to fight back, because board 3 and 4 are in serious trouble, it seems. And here also Kazakhstan is, might be equalish, but white seems the one who's attacking in a pleasant way. We're just playing f5 and f6 on the next move if he gets the chance. Black king, not very safe.
Yeah, and despite the fact that white is down a pawn, white has so much play here, and it should be black that has to worry here.
Ah, he's down a pawn. Yeah, I should practice my counting abilities. I thought it was equal. Okay, yeah. Okay, agreed. That makes the position somewhat different, but yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we head back to China, the Netherlands?
Sounds good.
See if the Netherlands can still fight back after this, well, losing on board 2 and 4, which did turn out to be the most exciting games. And
True.
let's see how board 1 is doing. Hichan Han against Hawen Shui, and that is
Okay, very solid position. White seems to be up one pawn, but it's a
Yeah.
doubled pawn. Okay, well, black also has double pawn on the same file, so white should be better here. But is this winning? That's the question, because the knight on e6 seems very strong. It's controlling many squares, and white has to keep an eye on the pawns on e5 and g5 with the knight, and that seems a little unpleasant.
Yeah, I'm glad you did the counting again, because I thought it was equal once again. But I still thought white was better, assuming it was equal. But if white's up a pawn, then yeah, for sure white's better. So Hichan trying to, I'm not sure if he should take, but he's trying to activate his rook and pressure this b7 pawn by going rook b1 as well. Difficult to protect the pawn. I mean, you can move your knight, but as you mentioned, then g5 is no longer under attack, so you have some possibilities maybe to activate your own knight as well. Yeah, Hichan is in control. He's doing well here.
It's hard to see where the entry point is for white, because if black is able to defend the b7 pawn very well, it's getting really hard, because the knight on e6 is very good defensive piece.
Yeah, true. You need two weaknesses, right?
Yeah,
To win the
and I'm
game.
failing to see where we can create more weaknesses with white.
Yeah, rook a8 played. Yeah, I mean, if you want to make use of the extra pawn, you need to get these pawns moving, but that's difficult.
That seems very tough.
I suppose rook b1 feels like a logical move to make. Threatening b7 indirectly. Yeah. It's indeed quite difficult to make progress here. Okay, we'll see how that develops. Let's check board 3, because I'm not even sure. Yeah, we saw it briefly between Prajit Sai Kumar and Xianghui Kong, who are playing right over here, and we still see the pawn structure we saw in the opening, this reversed slow Slav. But it's a bit messy here. What's going
Is there
on
a queen
here?
on c4 attacked 3 times?
Wait, queen takes c6, knight d6.
Okay, that may have been a transmission error.
Yeah, I think so too. This game is not Wait, what happened here?
Some transmission error occurred, but
This is, I mean, bishop h4, bishop a4. This is.
yes.
I mean, I can see the game there, but I can't reproduce the position. It's pretty impossible because this is just.
Does it help to refresh on the bottom right? Sometimes it helps to reload it. Yes, there you go. So magic. That button is the
That's the
the
magical
saver.
button. Yeah. Wow. That's powerful.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're in this position now.
Yeah, this makes more sense.
So g4 has been played. The knight is under attack. I really like the knight on f4 for black.
I really like black. No, the thing is, this is completely offside, and you have back rank issues, serious back rank issues, because it's hard to play a move to create some luft. So the only downside is that you don't have rook c8, rook c1 ideas. But I think there's, I mean, knight e2, queen d2, yeah, queen d2 played. Oof.
Yeah, this is serious trouble for white.
Both around 2 minutes on the clock.
I wonder if there's some tactic, but I'm failing to see one since the knight on h4 is covering the g2 pawn as well, because I wanted to play knight e3.
Yeah, that looked cool, right?
But unfortunately for black, it doesn't seem to work out just yet.
Yeah, h4. Knight on h4 is still defending g2. Oh, they're repeating moves?
Oh, maybe to get some. Maybe he saw something and then after rook f1 thought, maybe there's not much there. Because now you can play knight e2, knight takes d4. At least you can win that pawn. And then activate the rook on d8.
True.
So maybe he saw this move and decided to go for this line instead.
Yeah, maybe. You can also play f5 to bring more pieces. Bishop h6 apparently.
Okay.
I think he wants to execute this one and
That's
go
a
for this knight e3 trick.
Yes. Ooh.
And now and that's why he puts the rook back here, so it's a bit hidden, and then he goes queen d2 and he takes the knight and goes knight e3. That's his plan.
I love that. And also the knight on b5 is pinned, so that may also be part of the reason.
Yeah, so Project side just takes the pawn. That's brave, but okay, you gotta do something. And bishop g5 was played instantly. And now, is there a threat? What's happening?
I guess black is threatening to take on h4, but for white I'm failing to see what can be done.
Queen b7 to defend g2. That's deep, right?
That's very sneaky.
But might be good. Hey, you gotta make a move to try and activate your queen, and it takes a while to. He played queen b7, I think. Did he? Yeah, he played it.
Wow. That's a boss move.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it will save the game, but at
Nope.
least it's holding on for a little while.
Huh. So now you spent a few moves going for this threat with bishop h4 and knight e3, and it doesn't work. The good thing is you can still make a draw, I guess. If you want, at every occasion you can go queen d2.
But there must be more in the position because there's 3 pieces in the attack basically, the queen and 2 knights. And you're probably going to capture the knight with the bishop, but yeah, it's tough to see how to actually finish off the game.
I really liked going f5 and bishop takes d4 just to get this rook into play. Now it's quite difficult to manage that. King h1, queen e4, threatening knight g3 check, taking the rook. But also pinning his own knight. Not sure if that's a problem, but okay. And threatening bishop, and okay, you don't have knight f4 here, but it's because you're pinned. But maybe you can come up with some solution there. But how are you going to deal with this threat of knight takes g3? You have to make a rook move, right?
Yeah.
Rook f1 did he play? Yeah, rook f1. Queen d3, rook e1. Okay.
Oh no, not the repetition again.
Been there, done that. Let's try something new. Okay, so what if you go back, rook f1? What if you take on h4 and go knight f4?
It feels like black is the one. Actually, oh, that's a clear threat.
f3, and now you can
Queen
queen
e2.
e2, and then bishop f2 still? I don't know.
There's a rook hanging.
Never mind. Rook g1 then.
There must be
now
something.
this is with counter check and might be checkmate on the other side. Okay, this is let's see what they're playing. Ah, they have this on the board. Nice. I love predicting chess games. Yeah, so you can also go rook g1, right?
Yeah.
Forgot about this move. We can repeat again if you like. But you want this guy into play.
Yeah, he wants to involve that rook somehow, but I'm also failing to see it. And it feels like black should have some discovery attack, but that's also not really working out.
Oh, you want some knight move and then
And then checkmate on f2, yeah.
yeah.
Sadly, knights don't move that way.
Nope. f3 being okay. That's a risky move. He's adjusting his pieces in his opponent's time. That's also a very tricky move, by the way. You should not do that in time trouble. That's really disturbing. But okay, that's still stuff they need to learn.
Yeah, but if black pushes too much, he might actually get into trouble if the rook gets to g1, and then you can't really take on f3 as we mentioned.
But now your knight is no longer pinned. He takes the pawn on f3. Woo.
Did he?
Yeah, so this is with check, forcing knight g6, only move.
Okay.
But okay, that's
Still fine. It
It's
looks
safe.
very tricky, but knight g6
yeah,
is very
it's
safe.
on the board. By the way, board 1 in this match is still ongoing, similar position as we just saw. And Kazakhstan has won their match against Azerbaijan. Only board 1 is still playing, but Mamedov beating Azadaliev. So that's the current status of the top boards. So we're going to stick to this game because it's quite exciting.
Yeah, because now the pawn f3 is hanging, it's really hard to see how you defend it, because rook g3, you just play queen f1 and you capture the pawn on next move.
Yeah, so queen c6 played. Black takes on f3, rook g2. Okay, black once again can make a perpetual and win the match. We should not forget about that.
That is true.
But maybe he just wants to go king h8, threatening this, threatening this.
Oh yeah, this looks very good. And rook g8 for that matter.
Yeah, rook g8 as well.
Finally
yeah.
the rook gets back into the game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, these two pieces being offside, it really starts to hurt now. King exposed. The coach is only thinking, make perpetual, we win the match, make perpetual. Repeat once.
Ooh,
And queen e4.
what a move, defending the pawn on e6 and attacking the bishop on h4.
Clever. I'm not sure if it's the best move, but okay, it's clever find. Yeah, I think king h8 was still very strong, but he can play that later.
Yeah, there's, it's
need
always possible.
I think there's no need to rush. Bishop f2.
Now's the time for king h8. Ooh.
Boy, and he instantly replied with knight d6. Yeah, I was worried about this move because there's knight f7 also.
Oh. Oh, that looks very tough. You can... okay, I guess you still have queen b1, but... now I'm not sure if white wants to go for a draw.
No. And white has a choice because he can indeed play bishop g1 now.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, and black is below 20 seconds. Yeah, shaking his head just a little bit. He takes the knight. Clever call, I think.
That's actually, yeah.
And knight f4. Ah, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's over.
He's still winning.
You have some checks with white, but the king is running to
Of course,
h6.
you can just resign.
Yeah.
Okay, good move by black. He was shaking his head, but not because he was. I mean, he's just winning.
It looked very, very tough, but sometimes it's as simple as sacrificing material. And as we mentioned before, the knights are the pieces of the game.
Yeah, I think he did blunder though. He looks a little bit upset. I think he did blunder 96, but position too good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's just time to resign. There's nothing you
Yeah,
can
this
do.
is over.
Yeah. Should we wait for the handshake protocol to be initiated, or?
It could happen any moment. The player's also low on the clock, so I'm not expecting. Okay, there is a move on the board,
Yeah, I think.
but
he
it should
just
be over soon.
Queen d8, king g7. He can play one more check. Give one more check. And that's it. In the meantime, Han is still trying to make progress, but not really. Oh, he made a lot of progress. That's. Well, not sure if it's progress, but things changed.
Yeah.
Let's just have a look at that game because this one is over. So we left here, but now if we just go instantly to the current position, look at the white king. It's on b2. So
Yeah.
that changed, and indeed board 3 resigned. So China winning the match, and Han can still try to score a point, but it's not going to affect the match result here. But this king is on b2. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know.
And the rooks on the d-file seem also very strong, and the rook on d7 defends very well.
Yeah, and the white rooks are just feel a bit helpless, wandering around, not sure what to do. Rook h8 was played. Now black still had to make a move. Your magical reload button doesn't work.
I guess it takes a few moments for the moves to appear. Yeah. They're playing very quickly, so in time trouble, it takes some time to get the moves.
Back.
Yeah, this seems like it's heading towards a draw. It's really difficult to see how white can make any sort of progress here. And I would even be worried if you push too much with white that maybe you get into some trouble, because black is so active.
Yeah, true. Yeah, black did well, not moving his knight from e6. Chen repeating. Are we gonna try and understand the rook endgame in the second match?
Let's take a look.
Let's try.
Let's try.
We have to, because this game will, I don't think anything is happening. I want to see how the rook endgame is. So Azerbaijan against Kazakhstan. It's first board, and they have this rook endgame. And I'm always scared to analyze rook endgames because, yeah.
We do have table base. That isn't.
That is true.
That is possible.
We're not supposed to cheat, but it's no, because yesterday we had this rook bishop against rook endgame, and I wasn't aware of that there were two defenses available. And during dinner, I was being told that it's weird that I didn't know it. So I'm afraid to display my lack of endgame knowledge again, because I get warned by the Dutch Federation for not knowing my stuff.
Endgames are very difficult.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them, so.
There is. So what about this one? Let's try. Black looks confident, but I think it's. I just don't know. It should be a draw, right? Because if you go c4, takes and king takes, I mean you are gonna be very close, right?
Yeah, you don't have rook d5 to cut off the king, so yeah.
I think this should be a draw. But okay, maybe there's easier ways to play. You went rook d8 check.
The rook is stuck on f5. I mean, it has to protect the pawn on b5 and also keep an eye on the pawn f6. So yeah, this seems like it's easy to hold the draw.
Yeah, maybe he's just forcing black to go here and then makes a rook move and then threatens c4 again, having a better version of whatever we just saw.
Yeah, I guess you can also just take the pawn.
True.
Really testing your endgame skills
I'm scared now.
in this booth.
Just black out instantly as soon as there's only 5 or 6 pieces on the board. 7 even.
Happens to the best.
And me apparently, yeah. No, it's just they're just repeating moves now. Rook to f8, king
Yeah,
b6.
there's no way you can make any progress here. Rook b8 check back.
Yeah, I think they've been here. And yeah, rook f, yeah, okay. Repeating moves, also He Chen Han and Awen Shui made a draw. So China winning 3.5 against the Netherlands. And this is going to be a draw as well, most likely. Making sure Kazakhstan will probably win with 3-1. He went for c4 now. What's the current position? Yeah, this is it. Okay, he can show his endgame skills now. But it's supposed to be common knowledge.
Yeah, with the rook in front of the pawn, it's very much not ideal for black. At least you want to have the rook behind the pawn. But okay, now the white rook has to move. But with the pawn f6, it's not really going anywhere. The white king is very close, so this should be really easy to hold.
Yeah, you can go for the famous FIDE position. And then, okay, they should know this stuff. Do we have any other games still ongoing? Like some crazy time trouble shenanigans in some other match? Maybe if you can...
Yeah, let's take a look.
Can you see if there's still something going on? I don't think it is, because usually the top games will last the longest. But
yeah, they're very competitive, that's for sure. Let's see. We have quite a few endgames. We even have a rook and bishop against rook. That's going to take some time.
we can head back to that one later. Yeah, that's going to be fun. You have just an overview of the ongoing games.
Yes.
Yeah, you have some chess.com skills. That's nice.
It helps a lot. Okay, yeah, this seems very drawish. Okay, there's only a few games left, not a lot actually, and they all seem pretty drawish.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay, actually, let's take a look at Hungary-Ukraine. That game seems to be winning, and it might actually end very soon.
Yeah, let's have a brief look, and after that we can.
The second one.
Oh yeah. And board number.
Yeah, the only ongoing one.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is always tricky because you have these stalemate issues. You got to be careful. But this is nice. I think after rook takes, you can go rook here to win the game.
I think I actually managed to not win this against Anna.
That's yeah.
She managed to trick me. It was not nice.
This is a nice victory though. King h8 not possible due to checkmate.
Yeah, that's very well.
This capture rook f8 is easily winning the pawn in game. Nice.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah. And also this happened, so that means it's 4-0 victory for no. It's 2-2 between Hungary and Ukraine.
Okay, interesting.
All right, so there's still a few endgames going on. We do have a nice little video. I think it's a good time to show this one of the players testing Dutch candy.
Oh,
it's always fun to see. So we're gonna start in this video, and then I think after that we get back to this rook bishop against rook endgame. But yeah, let's have a look.
I love food.
This is Gevulde Koi.
I'll give it maybe a 7.
It's actually good. A 7 out of 10.
It seems to have like coconut in it and it's really sweet, so I give it an 8.
You like it?
No! No!
It's kind of sticky. That's nice.
Mine is 6.9. It's just weird.
Yeah. It's quite soft, yeah. This is actually my favorite so far. I think it's better than this because it's not too sweet.
Oh, I love it. 69 out of 10.
But it seems like something you could take for like a good like 2-3 days, and you're like, you know what, I can get another.
Say it again.
That was fun.
That was really awesome.
I mean, we know how good it tastes, but I can imagine it's a whole new experience if you're not familiar with the food. Always good fun to test those things at such an international event. Okay, so we have one.
With one more game going on, the Rook and Bishop endgame.
Yeah, between Austria
and Croatia.
Okay, after yesterday we have to see that one because yesterday we had a similar endgame. So where is that
It's
match?
the second one. I believe the ongoing games are at the top,
Ah, right, okay.
so that should help.
Learning stuff here. Okay, so we have this game between Martin Grantov and Laurens Bormann, and black is not in trouble yet.
No, but you know the king is on the
Yeah, you have
on the edge.
some defenses here. This seems to be very strong, threatening checkmate, but it's always rook f1. Where after rook g8 you have rook
Ooh.
f8, so that's one defense you have to keep an eye on. But it's always very dangerous still. I would like to...
Maybe white can wait and hope that black plays a move rook d3.
Yeah, that would be smart. Rook b7. I mean, you can always play a move like this. Let me just briefly check when the last capture occurred in this game. That was at move... Maybe you can check it because he's constantly scrolling me down.
53?
53?
54.
Wait, what? What? He just let him off the hook.
Oh, was there a win?
What happened? He played king e5. Okay, there were some moves. Yeah, now
Okay,
black.
now the black is king is
escaped.
getting out.
So move 53, you said.
54 even.
54. So in 7 moves, white could claim a draw, but that's unlikely because they have no idea. Did you ever win this as white, or even
No, I don't think
never had it on the
so.
board?
I'm usually the one with the rook. I can only recall the times I've been suffering. I think I had this once, and it was extremely difficult with white, with the bishop, to like get the king on the edge of the board. Like my opponent was not cooperating, so that made it like it made me pretty tilted because I was very confused. Why is it usually happening if the king is on the edge, and in my game it doesn't?
That's unfair. They should cooperate.
Yeah, yeah, that was really nice, but it was really well defended by my opponent for sure.
Yeah, it's difficult to defend because it's constant pressure, and the good thing is the increment is only 10 seconds. In the classical game, you have 30-second increments, so then it lasts a lot longer.
Oh, we see on the camera.
He's claiming a draw?
He's claiming a draw, and it's a few moves too early.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure because I'm not sure if I have all the moves here available.
We may be a few moves behind.
Yeah, he's too soon. And it's white to move on our board anyway, so.
Yeah, for now I'm. If we look at the board, king is on e7 and king on e5. So maybe they played one more move, or 2 more moves. I think the player is asking the arbiter how many moves have we played.
Yeah, but that's not allowed, I think.
Ah.
Well, you can ask, but I don't think. Nope.
And they continue.
The arbiter is not allowed.
Wait, no penalty?
No.
Make a claim?
No penalty, it seems. That's surprising.
Maybe a warning?
He was 2 moves short. No, 1 move short. Did he count in his head?
I don't know.
Now he can claim. And now it says draw on. No, but it's.
I guess it's automatic. The system is calling it a draw.
No, that's weird because there's still moves, right? I mean, the system should just allow moves to be played after move 50.
Yeah. The moves are still on the board appearing.
Okay.
So we're in here for another 25 moves, I think.
No, but so he was 1 move short, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think he claimed the draw here, but
Yeah.
it was move 49.
Yeah.
I think he has been counting and he just miscounted somewhere.
Very
now,
possible.
But now he's gonna try again. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. There you have the handshake.
Well played. Well played. Yeah. So he should have gotten a time penalty for making a wrong claim, but he didn't, and then he tried again a few moves later. I mean, as we mentioned yesterday, you can try forever, and if your opponent's about to checkmate, you can claim.
Yeah, true.
But okay, he doesn't want to suffer for many more minutes. So yeah, another one, keeping this endgame to a draw, and I think that will be it for
that
this
ends
round.
the round, indeed. A
All
very
right.
exciting one.
We don't have any results yet on chess results, so we can wrap it up for what we have seen. And we did see China beating the Netherlands very convincingly, 3.5-half. China clearly taking the lead now in the tournament, and yeah, they have
Still haven't lost a game on any of the boards. Yes. I checked this morning and I was shocked that they had 2 results of 3.5-half and 1 4-0. So
That's
it's
impressive.
very impressive.
Very impressive. Azerbaijan lost their match against Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan just was too strong, 3-1 victory. And France didn't manage to beat Turkey. Turkey is such a strong team as well. They got a draw on board 1, but 3.5-half is what it is. And that means China, Kazakhstan and Turkey are taking the lead amongst a few other teams that probably also won their match on lower boards, but we just can't get a very good overview of that just yet. So I guess we're going to wrap up today's round. We do have a second round at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That means we'll be live again 10 minutes before the start of the round. Players are going for lunch. We're going for lunch.
We're going for lunch.
And you'll be here, of course, once again, the rest of the tournament, so also this afternoon. So for now, everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure to check the socials, because there's more fun content, as we just saw. There's a lot of content to see, so make sure to check that out. Hashtag Youth Olympiad, you will be able to find most of it. And yeah, that's it. See you all in a few hours.
See you later.
Bye bye.
In Georgia, we don't say chess. In Georgia, we say chadraki.
Chess!
Schaken.
How to say chess in Greek?
Schaki.
Chess!
Where do we come from? We come from South Africa.
How to say chess in Italian?
Pizza!
Schiaci.
Say chess in French?
Échec.
That was fun!